Until we add context, we don't really get to truth. And numbers don't mean anything to our viewers until we tell them what they should mean, and until we tell them historically how they fit into their lives. Context is, we could define it as background. We could define it as comparativeness to other things. And it's so important because we can spout off facts and ideas, but until we add context to them, are we really helping our viewers understand the importance? Well, it might be most easily understood if we think about context in terms of numbers that we use all the time in the newscast. Let's say, for instance, the stock market. So the stock market drops 1,200 points in a day. It would be a big drop, but not even close to the largest percentage drop, not even in the top 20 for the largest percentage drops in the stock market history. 1,200 points is an accurate number. It's a factual number. Until you add context to it, though, the viewer doesn't really have any idea how to fit that number into their lives. We like to say accuracy plus context equals truth, right? The number, the fact, is important. But until you don't really get to the truth until you add the context to that number. Let's use another example. City of Austin approved a new budget, and they added 30 police officers to the force. My question was, is that a lot of police officers, or is that a few police officers? Because if I told you that Austin only had 200 police officers on the entire force, 30 would feel like a lot of people, right? That's a big number. But what if I tell you 2,000 police officers are on the force? 30 doesn't feel like that many anymore. It's 1.5%, something like that. It's a pretty small number. So again, 30, it's a factual number. It's an accurate number. You add context to it, though. Now the number starts to mean something, right? If you're talking about numbers, the most important question to ask is that a big number or a small number? Because big numbers sound big, but there are bigger numbers. So we should be asking, what's a big number? What's a small number? Let's put it into some context. Let's find the history. How does this fit in? And the second question we should be asking is, what does this mean to our viewers? I mean, we're giving them a number. What does it mean to them? You can type it into your computer and you can look stuff up in order to find historical comparisons that you can make to numbers. And that's the thing that's lacking is taking the time to make sure that we're doing that. The other part of that is, look, there are people who have agendas out there, and part of their agenda is throwing a number out there and hoping that we won't give it context to make it sound bigger or smaller than it is. And so it's important that we add context, because the number is the number, the fact is the fact, but when you add context to that, suddenly it may take on a completely different meaning for the viewers. Context is so important to truth.